Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I'm making French bread today because I'm going to make the lox and the cream cheese spread, and I want to make sure that I have it ready for them. I didn't get to the spread yesterday. I have everything out now to frosting. You're going to have to put 1 3/4 cups of cold water on to just bring it to tepid. And when they say tepid, it just means body temperature, just in that vicinity. Sometimes my water, I overheat it, and what I'll do is throw some of it out and add cold water to get it to the temperature that I need. It happens at times, so you're not always perfect at getting it just right. But it doesn't take long for it to actually come to the point where it has to be, so just keep an eye on it. That's what I'm talking about. That's how fast it heats up. Now you're going to add, if I remember, it's 2 packets of yeast. This is one recipe I've practically memorized, but I hate it. 2 packages of yeast. Other than that, it's 4.5 teaspoons if you take it from the jar. This bread is a quick bread that you can make, and I'm going to have to buy some more. I'm running out again. I have so many different kinds of yeast and salts and stuff, sometimes I have to remember. All right, you need 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm going to use my All-Blend in this. And I'm going to make this bread recipe a little more nutritious. I'm going to add 1/2 of a cup of whole wheat flour. We need 2 teaspoons of salt. Where did I? Okay, Sandra, where did you put it? All right, this is ridiculous. Okay, you need 2 teaspoons of salt, as I try to remember where I put everything. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of whole wheat. This will be because I'm only adding 1/2 cup, it's going to give a slight off white color to the bread. And they definitely want you to use all-purpose flour. That means it's going to have all-purpose is made with cake flour and bread flour. And I gave you the real ratio of it, so you can make your own. If you run out of all-purpose and you just have cake flour and bread flour, you will be able to do it no problem. All right, that's one. This is 1 cup of white flour. Might as well turn you down so you can start seeing what I'm doing. This was the first bread recipe I learned to make because it had very few ingredients in it. Now there's 2 cups of flour in here with 1/2 cup of whole wheat. Well, see, most people say you have to knead the bread 7 or 8 minutes, but if you beat the bread, you're also pretty much doing the same thing. That's why you see me beat it a lot. 3 cups of white flour and a half a cup of whole wheat. You see, now it's ready to move out into the counter and knead it. Oh boy, this is really getting a bean. Yeah, I told you yesterday I cut my finger. Yeah, I did. Here it is, my thumb. Make a bed for it, because if you pour it on the counter right away, it's going to stick to the counter, so you give it a bed. That's why they always say hold back the last cup or something. I got to get my ice trays up soon so we can start making European sourdough breads. But I have no room in my freezer right now. Add hot water to your bowl because you're going to need it. Very warm. Start folding this flour in, and we'll work right in folding into a knead once it gets more flour in it. I was getting in and I realized I needed my ice tray, but I don't set that out for a little bit more because nobody's going to be using it, and it gives me time to start emptying some of the freezer out. Now you see, I was folding the flour in and now I'm walking it into a knead. Now I've added 4.5 cups of flour. Now they said it takes anywhere from 4 to 5 cups. So see, if your family's not overly fond of just solid whole wheat and they like white, you can do it this way. If you're still getting those B vitamins into them, and if their digestive system is really up and going, they will multiply what you get in there. Now, if your family can't deal with the kelp mixture you've made, all what you have to do is use 1 teaspoon the salt mixture and 1 teaspoon of regular iodized salt. And that will cut it back and slowly introduce them to it. My sons have not had any complaints with all the extreme things that I have done. But I know when I make this bread, they're going to want French bread to spread it on, because they can toast the French bread and spread it on. So we'll be making that little pâté today. I'll show you how I make it. And as you work it, believe it or not, it will absorb this flour slowly. That's why you see me constantly pushing it back under it. As I push it out, it takes so much and then it gets pushed out. But bread making is an art. When you use the whole grains, it's harder. You got to get them to rise. When I make whole grain breads, I usually take the flours out and put them on the table until the morning of putting it together. So they're more room temperature, which makes it easier. I'm hoping to start dehydrating bananas, and I'm going to do something. Most people say you can't do it, it doesn't work, this and that, but I am going to try something. I don't know if it's going to. I'm going to take one banana. All the bananas will be plain, and then I'm going to take part of one banana and just take a few pieces, and I'm going to try something and see if it works. Because they say, no, it seals it up, but if it's in water, it shouldn't seal up, it should crystallize. Anyway, we'll find out. So later on today, oh, and we are having breakfast sausages for dinner, and I am not making French toast. I'm going to make something a little different than French toast. I think you'll be interested in. Because I was reading up on it, and they say bake. And I said, bake? I said, oh, I've got to try this. You know, I'm one of those people. Sounds good, I'm going to try it. But that's what we're having today with eggs. I'm definitely going to have that spread. Because I know my sons will get hungry. When they start smelling the bread, they know something good is coming. I'm going to start getting into my roll recipes for you, because I got a lot of those too. You see how this bread is getting harder. Now some of this is particles of the dough that came undone and aren't becoming part of it. You see? You just take this part and just throw it into your compost. Somebody said, I can't wait till you go live. I can't go live until I hit 3,000 public viewing hours. 3,000. So, when I get there, I should be able to do live for some of you who want to do live. But you know, if I'm cooking, I'm not going to be able to read. I'll mess up. See, this is the rest right here, this little bit here. That's the some of the dough and flour that sticks together that the bread won't take up. Just work the last of the flour in. And for you, anybody who hasn't made bread, this is one of the easiest bread recipes to make. It's not complicated. And this is what your bread looks like. The dough does. Smooth and elastic. This is what you want it to look like. Okay, now I got to clean the bowl out. So I'll be right back. But this is the bread recipe I actually learned to make bread with. I tell you, you can also use the spread that I'm giving you and make it for breakfast. And believe you me, your family will not be hungry going to school or work. If you pack a lunch, You can pack it on make a bed of salad greens, either a spring salad, or if they like spinach, a spinach, or an iceberg lettuce bed. Toast the bread, and in the center of that greenery, beautiful greenery, you sit there and you put the spread right there. And then you can accompany it with the bread, toasted. Make sure it's thin and toasted so it's like having crackers, unless you want crackers. I like the French bread with it better. And you can put raw vegetables around the plate, or fruit if you wish around the plate. And that is a good solid meal. If you wanted to make it for your husband, he could sit there and take that to work. And believe you me, he'd like it very much. If he likes, you know, lox and bagels, instead of a sandwich, doing it as spread like that, and then accompany it. If he likes radishes, you could put radishes there. They like cherry tomatoes, you have cherry tomatoes. If you like celery sticks, you know, there's just so much you can do. Or carrot sticks if you want. Any vegetable, or you could put vegetables and fresh fruit, or if you want just fresh fruit, you can, but it would be a platter. I mean, though you put it in a container, if you put it on a platter, it would be a very dressed up platter. And you could do that for him. And if you have a thermos and he likes coffee, you can definitely make the hot coffee in the thermos and that. And I know if he's eating with his other friends, and because they work outside, I could see them look at his dish and say, man, that really looks good. See, most people wouldn't think about that. Even if you make a ham or what do I call it? Deviled ham, or just regular ham, you could do the same thing too. If you have, if you make your own luncheon meat, I got my book. I've been reading it. There's a lot to it. But if you want to make your own luncheon meat, you could do that too. Put a towel over this, because this is not sourdough. Put a towel, put it in a warm place, and we're going to let this double. But do grease that bowl. Put the dough face down first. Twist it so the top is coated with oil, and then flip it over, make sure the whole thing's oiled, and then you sit there and just put a towel over and let it go. But just imagine what the platter would look like. I don't know your mate's likes or dislikes, so I couldn't tell you to add specifically this or that, but I will give you the spread today. I should have last year, but I didn't. I forgot about it, and I just sat there and made it, and when I was done, I said, oh, great. I forgot to show them how to make this spread, and I had promised you, so I'm a little late. I should say the continuation of last summer. And, but there's so much you can do, you know, for a platter, and then that way it's not having luncheon meats. Now, I got that book, and I plan to make chicken luncheon meat. If I get a roast, a beef roast, I have a slicer. I can thin slice it and make my own roast beef sandwiches. My problem is usually when I go shopping, I don't think the day ahead of time that get the roast so you can make roast beef sandwiches. But hold on, I got flour all over you. I'm cleaning it up right now. Got flour on your legs, on your stand. But I can sit there and do that. And if you can buy a turkey breast, you should be able to cut it. You see? So I look forward to that. I've got a turkey sausage that I want to make. No, a chicken sausage. And it tells me what I have to buy, and I'll show you, and we'll try to make it. But I think the first one, first thing I'm trying to do is to see how these breakfast sausages come out today. And I'll be making patties with them. Like I told you, I don't put them in casings. I pat them out. But I have a few things I have to get together so I can make some of these dishes that I'm talking to you about. I got the books and stuff, so reading them and learning. I'm still learning. Like I said, I'm 71 and I'm still learning. So why not? I hear some people talk, and I'm saying, wait a minute, you just said that last week. You don't age that fast in 1 week. Oh, anyway. I know I won't be 72 till next spring. Anyway, listen, we have to wait for that. As soon as it is, we'll shape it and get it ready. Okay, you're going to need a baking pan or a cookie sheet. You're going to have to grease it, and then you're going to have to sprinkle it with cornmeal. Now, the reason you're using the cornmeal is it's going to give a bed to the bread so it doesn't burn on the bottom. You see? Now my bread is doubled. I'll show you. Now see? Now the one thing you don't want bread to do when you're just using a regular yeast of today and not the sourdough is, well, even for sourdough, you do not want it to drop and fall on its own, because if it does, it's dead and that's it. So you always try to get to it before it does that. So I punched it down, just getting it all together. And we're going to be making loaves. No, let me come down. You can just see what I'm doing. I haven't divided it yet. I'm just working some of the excess oil into it. I always try to get them the same size. But I usually mess up on it. But anyway, you're going to roll this out some. And we're going to sit there and roll it up. And don't worry, it will stretch. So you don't have to worry about that either. And you're just going to take it and roll it up. That's it. Pinch these. If you don't, they are going to separate. So make sure that they're really stuck together. Seam side down. Just like that. I told you this bread is a very easy bread to make. You can feel the light texture on it. And you can see by adding that half a cup of whole wheat, I did not affect the color of it. Seam side down. Here they are. Now let me wipe this area and we'll get things going. Now what you're going to do is we're going to let this double. So you're going to throw a towel over it again. Wait until it doubles. It should double within an hour. Just depends upon how warm your kitchen is or how cold your kitchen is. So we're going to leave that for a bit, and I will be back when we go to bake it. Okay, as you can see, my bread has doubled. Set your oven to 400 degrees. You're going to need some cold water and a brush and a bread knife. Here's my water. Now, if you don't have a bread knife, you can use a blade or a very, very sharp knife. And what you're going to do is make 3 slashes diagonally on each loaf. You don't have to go deep. If you go too deep, the bread is going to spread too far. That's all you're going to do. Now you're going to brush these with water. Now we have to wait for the oven, and I will be back. Okay, you're going to put the bread in the oven and we're going to bake it for 10 minutes, and then I will be back. In 10 minutes, just leave it 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Now what you're going to do is you're going to brush them with water again. Clock another 10 minutes. Okay, you are going to brush them. Let me turn another light on for you. You're going to brush them one more time, and then you're going to leave them in for 15 to 20 minutes. And that's it. Wait till you see how big they are. They are going to be great going to put the locks on. Closing them up. Okay, we got 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, the bread is done. And here it is. So take care. Bye-bye.